What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the More Than This podcast. I am so excited to be able to sit down for this week's conversation. My guest today is a JUCO product, now playing quarterback at the University of Oklahoma. Even though he is new to Norman, he has already taken several opportunities to partner with the community to give back and to make a difference. I cannot wait to dive a little deeper into his life, family, faith, mission, and so much more. Please welcome to the podcast, General Booty.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Thanks so much for sitting down with us today. We appreciate it.
Oh, of course. Thanks for having me.
All right, so we're going to start off easy. You ready for this?
Yep.
All right, so Halloween is coming up. We're recording the week before Halloween. What is the most iconic Halloween costume you've ever worn?
Most iconic.
Yep.
I don't know. I've had a lot of good ones. I have
Okay.
to go with my favorite one would be Captain Jack Sparrow when I was young from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Okay, what age was that?
I'd say around 9 or 10.
Okay, that's solid. That's solid. I think one year I was
Mhm.
a Power Ranger. So that would probably be my like I don't know why that was so random, but we had to go with it. We had to pull it
I
out.
think I was Power Ranger 1 year too.
Hey, popular, popular. I think my brother was a Power Ranger for 5 years in a row. I'm not even kidding.
Really?
Yep. Loved him. That's so funny. Okay, so kind of just introduce yourself to us like you've never met us before, like where are you from, all that good stuff.
Yep. So obviously, General Booty from Shreveport, Louisiana, born and raised there until I was about 9 years old. Moved out to California. I've actually moved around quite a bit. I've been to 4 different high schools,
Well,
um, two in California, two in Texas. Had to move around for my dad's job a little bit. So I lived in Newport Beach, California, San Antonio, Texas. Then moved back out to California, San Juan, and then finished my senior year at Allen, Texas. And that was probably my favorite one, I'd say, as far as just my experience there. Finished up there, had a couple small offers coming out of high school to play football. I play quarterback and wanted to bet on myself a little bit. And so I went JUCO and played in Tyler, Texas last year. Had an awesome time, made a bunch of friends there, loved my coaches and stuff, and had a pretty good season. And had the opportunity to come up to OU and visit it, and fell in love with the campus and the coaches, and uh, decided to commit on the spot and move down here this past summer and haven't looked back.
that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
crazy that you moved so much in high school. Can I ask like what your dad does?
Yeah. Well, first, my freshman year, we were out in California. He used to coach when I was really young. And going into my sophomore year, a friend had called him and gave him an opportunity to get back into coaching football, high school football. So he took it, and then my sophomore year, that was an opportunity for him to coach me, which was really fun. Um, and then after that, it was a very small private school in San Antonio. They were trying to get their football program kind of back on the map. After that, they decided they weren't going to have any football as a sports team anymore. It was just too hard for them. So we moved back out to California, and then COVID hit, and it was just really weird out in California, and had a lot of family still in Texas, Louisiana, and moved back down to the Dallas area for my senior year.
Well, that's awesome. I think it's really sweet being able to be coached by your parents. My mom coached me in high school and like
Really?
obviously, yeah, super
Yeah, it's
protective.
special.
It is really special. It's hard a lot, but
Yep, no doubt, no doubt.
we butt heads a little bit, but wouldn't trade it for the world. So
Mhm.
my mom's parents are actually from Tyler. So did
Oh, really?
you were at TJC, right?
Yep, I was at TJC.
Oh yeah. Gotta love TJC.
Yeah, no, it was a fun spot, and made a lot of friends there, and it was a cool little town. I didn't get to leave campus very much, but it was fun when I did.
That's awesome. It's not really, I feel like it's not really like a college town, like no offense to
No,
Tyler, but I feel like people that have been there like deep family roots in Tyler. So
right.
I have a lot of family still there and I love going back there, but I'm sure Norman is a little bit different college wise for sure.
Yeah, a whole lot different. A whole lot different.
So what are you liking about Norman so far?
Um, Probably my favorite thing that struck me when I got here was the campus. Like I loved all the brick and how like close everything was, and how like it was noticed it was just like really clean. 'Cause I had obviously been to bunch of college campuses before, but like no trash on the ground, super clean. Like everyone picked up after themselves. The classes weren't like super far away, like it's all kind of in one spot. And I just love that about it. So the campus is what caught my eye at first, and obviously the facilities for football and everything are, I mean, elite. They're the top of the top. So that was awesome as well.
That's awesome. So I was doing a little bit of research and I saw that football kind of runs in your family. Could you
Yep,
kind
a
of
little
explain
bit.
that? And like, did that play into your decision to like pursue football originally, or was that kind of something that you decided on your own?
I mean, I grew up kind of that's all I knew, but I did grow up playing like basketball and baseball and stuff like that. And I love those, but at the end of the day, I liked football the most. And I guess with my dad being my coach a little bit, and then I had uncles that played as well, and they'd help me out like on and off the field, and we'd always be watching football at the house and stuff like that. So, I mean, I'm sure it persuaded me a little bit, but I mean, I always loved football growing up, so I knew that was something that I was going to want to do in the long run.
That's awesome. So you say like you had uncles that played and stuff, but like, and your dad, but like explain like the level at which they played, like
Yeah.
go into that a little.
So, most of my family's quarterbacks. My grandfather kind of started it all. He went and played at Arkansas. He had four sons. So, two of my uncles went off and played in the NFL. Um, my dad, he was the only receiver of the group, and he played at LSU, and then ended up making it to the Cleveland Browns. And then my last uncle, um, he played high school football in Louisiana and was like state MVP and all that. So he just didn't decide to pursue it after high school. But so I have a little bit of football in my family and obviously a lot of knowledge.
That's awesome. That's I'm sure that was really fun to grow up with and just like to have
Yeah,
help along that process, you know? So
no doubt.
that's cool. So what truly like impacted your decision to go the JUCO route? Because like I know you had offers. Allen is like world
Mhm.
renowned. I mean like Kyler Murray, all that stuff. What
Right.
impacted that decision a little bit?
I say somewhat. My cousins. I have three cousins on my mom's side. Two older, and they both played football. Kind of same thing. One of them decided to go JUCO, and then the younger brother decided to go JUCO after that, and they both made it out. One went to Baylor, one went to North Carolina. Um, so watching them, that was kind of when I was in high school. So watching them, I'd go to their games every now and then when I could, seeing the work they put in and what they got out of it. I knew nothing against any of the schools that had offered me out of high school. I knew I could probably go to a bigger school, bigger platform, and I just knew if I went JUCO and put the work in that there was a really good chance that was going to happen. So just kind of betted on myself a little bit, but not a lot of people like to do it, but it does pay off.
Yeah. Was that a hard decision to make like initially? I feel like that took a lot of probably like trust in the process and in yourself and stuff.
Yeah, I went and down and visited Tyler a couple of times and a lot of other JUCOs in Texas. So I did my research, met the coaches, figured out offensive schemes and stuff they're running. So just little small things to give me some more assurance that that was going to be the right decision. But at the end of the day, I mean, you do got to have a little bit of faith. So that was just something I decided to do.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so now I kind of want to get into some stuff that you've been doing. I don't know how long. You can kind of explain this though, but I saw that you've been working with, or you dropped your NIL line. When did you drop that, like your merch line?
That was in August,
In
early
August.
August. Yeah.
Okay, sick merch, by the way. I'll be expecting a shirt.
Thank you.
No, I'm
Of
just kidding.
course, I got you.
I'm kidding. So and then so 20% of your proceeds go to OU Children's Hospital, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so kind of go into that a little bit and just like explain like how that even came about, like your organization and kind of your mission with that.
Yep. So I was working on my NIL, like the designs of the shirts and all the stuff like that, the website. And obviously my dad's been a huge part of my life. So I always talk everything over with him, kind of bouncing ideas off each other and making sure everything was right. And we were just kind of like, what can we do that was going to be different, than a lot of other athletes that were dropping NIL brand, not even just from like what the merch looks like, but just something different. And we kind of came together and thought about it for a couple of days, and I was like, well, I'm going to be making all this money, but and it's coming to me, but why can't we help other people out? And so I've kind of always had a place as in my heart as far as for kids, and I have a young cousin that has muscular dystrophy. And so been around kids hospitals and stuff like that. Um, just always kind of touched me in a different way. So we decided to partner up with Oklahoma Children's Hospital at OU, and I gave them a call, and because I didn't really know anyone over there, have any connections, so I kind of just called them up, and I mean, within seconds, I was on the phone with one of their top people, and they're setting it up, and everything was going smoothly, and they were super excited to make it all work, and so got down there and went and visited with them, and kind of got to meet a couple of the kids too, which was a fun deal and get to brighten their day a little bit. But it all happened kind of quick, and we set it up and then launched obviously the website, and it's been going since then.
That's so awesome. You hear so much like with all the NIL stuff about like what people can get for themselves and like what they can take and how much I mean, and there are a few situations where that's not like that. And
Right.
I understand that you have to look out for yourself too. And like, you only know how long you're going to play. Like, you don't really know that. But, so like taking advantage of that, but also like being able to give back, you're right. That is so different. And I just have a lot of respect for you for that. When I read that, I was like, wow, that is so cool.
Well, thank you.
What is kind of like, I don't know how to word this. What has kind of like molded that, like, I guess, like the servant in you? Like, I don't know. I've heard a little bit of just because, like, I've kind of heard about you. Like, my dad's been around you. Like faith wise, does that have a presence in your life or?
No doubt, no doubt. Yeah, no. So growing up, like I said, in Louisiana, my grandfather was a pastor, so I was always going to church Sundays and Wednesdays and being around that, and kind of had a big family. Like I said, he had four sons. Obviously, one of them my dad. They were all in Louisiana, so I was always around my family a whole lot. Grew up Christian, and like I said, going to church. So that was just the environment I was kind of always raised in, and I didn't really know much different. And so um, I would say that played a big part of it. And it was nothing really I ever rebelled or anything against. I've always thought it was super special, and grew up in a super special situation. So I've been thankful for it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think when you get to college, I grew up the same way. My parents, my grandparents, like we've all grown up Christian as well and just like in a great family and like I've been fortunate enough for that. But I think like once I got to college, I realized just like how much I'd taken that for granted, and just like the love that comes from that and kind of like I don't want to say safety because like my peace comes from the Lord, but like just kind of
Mhm.
like the peace that also comes from that situation, just knowing that I'm being prayed for and loved. And so it's kind of, I think it's cool that you've carried that with you into college because a lot of people kind of don't, like when they get
Right.
like, oh, this is me now. Like I'm making decisions for myself. But I think it's neat that you've chosen to carry that with you and like you can see the influence of it in what you're doing. So that's really cool. Props to you. Yeah. So, okay, let's kind of transition into, I guess, this season a little bit.
Mhm.
And like kind of the culture that y'all are trying to build. Like, so you've been a part of two different programs. So, how
Right.
would you say that, like, what y'all do on a day to day is different than not necessarily like TJC, but just like from different programs across the country, because you just transferred here, so
Right.
seen other places freshly. So, kind of just explain that a little bit.
I'd say the biggest thing would be the people
Mhm.
that Coach V's brought in here. Obviously, one of them being your dad is a big one. Coach Levy is another big one, but I can name almost everyone on staff. But a lot of them have either played at Oklahoma or been here and coached here before. So all the coaches are kind of tight. They've either played with each other, coached one another, even maybe. So they got a super tight bond, which allows them to coach us and have fun, and it's like they've been here before. It's kind of weird. They all seem, which most of them have, but it feels like they've been here before and they're just in the right spot. And then also, I'd say probably the resources Coach Venables has got for us. I know there's a lot of other programs out there and that spent a bunch of money, but as far as resources as like mental health and stuff like that for guys on the team if that's something that they're needing at a certain time. We got people on staff that just do that. Our nutritionists, they watch exactly what we eat. If we need to gain weight, lose weight, they got programs for us. So it's like little small details that a lot of programs are either don't have or just don't worry about or don't think about. So that kind of gives us a little bit of a competitive advantage and also grows us closer to one another as teammates and stuff like that. And the closer you can be as a team, obviously, is going to benefit you and the team way more.
For sure. I've just kind of seen some of y'all's dynamic and like heard my dad, obviously, like I don't pepper him about his job or anything, but I'm an athlete too. So my brother's an athlete. So when we're sitting
Right.
around the dinner table, we just have conversations like that. And
Mhm.
but he just like hearing about how close y'all are has been really special and kind of like even influenced me with my team. Like I didn't even know that. I mean, shoot, if 100 guys can be that close, then surely like a group of 15 girls running track can be close. So I don't know. It's just really cool that y'all have already not accomplished it, but like are working towards that this early when
Mhm.
all just got there. So that's really cool.
Right. Yeah, no, I know I wasn't on the team last year, but I've heard, countless guys on the team say that we're way more closer this year than they were ever last year, a couple years ago. So that's pretty interesting to hear them say that.
And I know that like y'all maybe definitely haven't had the results that you're looking for, but that's a great place to start. Like just the foundationally, like
Right.
starting with just like relationships, like with coaches, with athletes, like that's a great foundation to build on. And so I think that, I'm biased, but I think y'all can only go up from here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so what do you like to do outside of football? Like you have a week off. What are you doing?
Yeah, so I guess I'd say our bye week was last week. So drove down to Dallas and hung out with some of my cousins that they're around my age, and we went out and went hunting. Went on the land. So I'd say hunting, fishing would probably be anything really outdoors. To be honest with you, um, would be my go-to. Every once in a while, you asked me a couple years ago, I'd probably say video games. I've gotten away from that now.
Okay,
Not very much time for that. So,
right.
uh, just anything outdoors, kind of outside.
What's your favorite thing to hunt?
Um, Probably hogs. I'd have to go with hogs
Okay.
because I hate them. I like to get rid of them.
No doubt. I will not hesitate hunting hogs. Like
No, not at all.
they need to be gone anyway, so you might as well.
Right, right.
Do you have one of those thermal scopes or you just go like they did in the olden days?
I just go
Straight
like,
knife. Straight
yeah,
knife.
straight knife to the head. No, no.
Brutal. Brutal.
Yeah,
That's fun. So your cousins are your age. Do they play football or do they like
yeah. So, my younger cousin who I was just with, Jet, he's at TJC right now. He's a
okay.
freshman there. He's playing football. He's a quarterback as well. And then my other two older cousins, one of them, Jacob Copeland, he played at Baylor. He's a couple years older than me. He's 23 now, I believe.
Okay.
And then JB Copeland, he just recently got married a couple years ago, so not around him as much, but still hanging out. And they're all in the Dallas South Lake area. And so when I get a couple days off, that's where I go back. My parents are actually in California right now, so
Okay.
it's a little bit of a flight. So when I get a couple days off, I'm usually going back to hang out with my cousins and stay with them.
Yeah, I get to see a little bit of family. You can't see them.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so another question. What is something that someone may not know about you looking from the inside in?
Mm, Probably that I love art.
Okay.
Um I don't have like a bunch of paintings or stuff like that. And I still don't know a whole lot about it. There's a lot of art out there, but I love to draw a whole lot. Not necessarily even, obviously looking at art and stuff, people are amazing artists and stuff like that. But I love to draw in my free time or if I get bored. Um, I always sketching on paper. Anytime like I'm in class or something, have some extra time or just bored sitting around,
Mhm.
probably like to draw. And I don't think a lot of people know that.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
What do you like to draw?
Uh, I like to like copy things that I see that's around me. So whether I'm like outside and it's kind of like trees and stuff or landscape around me, or inside and uh just like something in the classroom or something.
Yeah.
Just kind of whatever's around me in my environment.
That's interesting. Okay, I didn't know that. I wouldn't have known that. So that's really cool.
Yep.
Thanks for giving us the inside there.
Yeah.
Okay, but what is your major?
That's actually a funny question because I switched my major yesterday.
Yesterday. So you're
Yep.
fresh. You're fresh in the new major.
Yep. I was business when I got here.
Yeah.
Um, which I like business, nothing wrong with it. But I wanted to go into communications. And so I switched it yesterday to communications.
Yeah.
And I kind of looked at it, I was like, if I want to go into business, I don't have to be a business major to go into business, you know. A lot of people even start businesses, you know, that don't even go to college or whatever. So I was like, it'd be important. But I was kind of thinking, I was like, everybody, no matter what business or whatever they do, majority of people have to communicate and know how to communicate with others. And that's something I like to do. I like public speaking and talking to other people, relationship stuff, like learning about that. So I thought that was going to be probably the best choice for me going on. And so that's why I wanted to get into communications. And I feel like I'm not kind of stuck in like one category. Communications, like I said, reaches out to a bunch of different jobs or opportunities. So it can go a bunch of different ways.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, no matter what your job is, you always have to communicate. So, like
Right.
you said, it's important, very, very important. What
Mhm.
is your dream job? Like all out dream job, could do anything.
I mean, obviously the goal is to go to the NFL,
Right.
um, but I mean everyone knows that doesn't last forever. Whether that's going to be 2 years in the NFL or I mean 15, which was like a great career, a really long time. After that, uh, I don't necessarily have one job that I want to do. I'd want to do something maybe that'd have to do something outdoors
Okay.
or something active that'd keep me going. I don't know if I'd want to sit at a desk job all day, even like if it was a business job and um, want to do sales or something. I'd want to be like a sales rep that's on the road, moving around, meeting new people and stuff like that. But I feel like I'd want to do something with my friends or family if possible.
Yeah.
Uh, I know that that isn't always the case when you get a job. You kind of make your work friends or whatever, but I feel like it'd be really fun to go do something you love with uh, some people you're closest with.
No doubt, no doubt. I'm really close with my family too, and I'm kind of like I'm an upperclassman now. I'm a senior actually, and so I'm trying to
Okay.
figure out kind of how I can, you want to like go away and do your own thing, but also it's like I love these people so much, like they've helped me so much, and you just want to be as involved with them for as long as you can, because you can never get time back. So that's kind of how I'm trying to figure out how I can do that and also do what I feel called to do at the same time. So
It's weird at first. You want to get out of the house out of high school,
mhm.
and then freshman year, you kind of want to be like as far away as home as possible. You're on your own, it's a totally different feeling. And then like Christmas break and stuff like that hit, and you go back home, and then you're like, well, I mean, I don't know if I want to live here necessarily again, but I don't mind coming back here, eating dinner with like home cooked meals and stuff, and being around and just hanging out.
Mhm. No doubt. I was a sophomore during COVID.
Mhm.
It was, my track season got canceled that spring and I was so upset. I was like training so well. I was going to have a great season. And I actually got to go home and obviously stayed home for the spring. And my brother was a senior in high school.
Uh-huh.
And so it was really cool to just like have that last semester of us both at home before
Right.
he went to college and I went back to college. And so it's kind of, I don't know, that was just a really fun time. And just, I don't know, it's funny how you always like, I don't know, for me, like I, I always, always, always look forward to going home. And people like kind of like crack on me for that because it's like, oh, you're such a homebody. I'm like, no, I just love the people there. I swear.
Right.
But okay, what is your favorite place in the entire world and why?
Ooh, favorite place in the entire world. Uh, I'd have to go with, and this is gonna be a weird one for people that have been there.
Okay.
Um, is where I was born, Shreveport, Louisiana.
Really?
Small, pretty small town. I mean, for Louisiana, there's definitely a lot smaller towns than that, but compared to like people from Texas and California and stuff, it's a really small town. Not too much going on there. I wouldn't even say it's been kept up very well, to be honest with you. But I have some of my best memories there, I'd say, growing up. My dad coaching me in football. At that time, my grandfather was the athletic director at the high school, so we got to go watch the high school games every Friday. Had a lot of friends on the team. Watched my youngest uncle growing up. He was playing high school when I was in like second or third grade, so I get to watch him play on Friday nights. My grandparents, their house that they had, I'd go stay over there all the time. My other grandparents, my cousins lived that are in Dallas now, live down there. And they had a bunch of land with four-wheelers and stuff, so we'd go out and hang out there. So I would have to say it just brings back a lot of good memories when I go there.
Mhm.
Like I moved around a whole lot. I mean, Newport Beach is up there with it just because it's such a nice spot, the weather, the ocean, stuff like that. But I don't think anything will beat Shreveport just because of the memories, the food, the friends and family. And I still got a lot of family there as well.
That's awesome. That's really cool. I wasn't expecting you to say that. I'm not gonna lie, but I
Yeah.
respect it. That sounds really fun. You big Cajun food guy or
Oh
no?
yeah. Oh yeah. Love spicy food. Crawfish, probably my favorite food.
Okay.
Um, oysters, gator, anything like that. I love it.
Crawfish is good. It just takes some work. I'm gonna have to work on my
It
technique. You
does.
might have to show me because I struggle. It takes me like an hour to eat like five. So
Yeah, it takes some time. Sometimes I guess you'd say it's not worth it, but I love it so much. I'll sit there and I've gotten pretty good at it, so I can peel them in like 3 seconds and just go to the next one. But
hey,
it's tough.
that's awesome. Didn't y'all have like a crawfish meal or something a few weeks ago
I
with the
I
team?
heard about it. It was like a week or two before I got here because I
Oh,
came early in the summer, and I think Coach Levy threw a big crawfish bowl at his house for all the coaches and a couple of the players that wanted to come, but I missed it by a couple of weeks.
man, that would have been right up your alley.
I
Shoot.
know, I know.
Well, okay, so we've kind of hit a lot of topics and do you have anything else that you like want to say or anything like that?
No, but I got a couple questions for you, if
For
that's all right.
me, yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine. Turntable.
Uh, yeah. What got you into track?
So I played soccer all growing up. I started playing when I was like 4, I think. And I played everything growing up. I played basketball, softball. I kicked for my high school football team. I did like everything. And so but soccer was my main competitive sport. And my my freshman year of high school, the track coach was like, please come out and run the mile. I know you play soccer. I just need somebody to run the mile. And I was like, oh Lord, here we go. So, my mom's been a runner her whole life. She marathons and stuff like that. And I had always told myself I will never do that.
Right. Too
And
much.
no, seriously, I was like, that just looks painful. But so yeah, I ran the mile my freshman year and I did really well. And I was like, wow, I'm kind of good at this. This is kind of fun. And I started training a little bit more and I absolutely like fell in love with the sport and competing. I just really liked how kind of the work you put in was like your direct result. Like it wasn't,
Not necessarily as much of a team sport.
yeah. And like I love team sports. I've grown up around them,
Right.
but I just thought that it was really cool that, like the work that I put in was like, or the work that I put in or I didn't put in, that was what my result was going to be. So that's kind of why I chose that.
That's pretty cool. I gotta ask you this one. I know you said your mom was a runner, so she trained you a lot, but your dad, did he train you growing up as far as like speed and agility or weightlifting, or was he kind of like um waited for you to kind of ask him to for any advice or any training, or he just put you straight into it?
So it's kind of funny because everybody always asks me that, like, oh, what did your dad have you doing when you were little and like all this stuff. So my mom was a strength coach too. They actually both coached. They met at Notre Dame and got married there and they were both coaching there.
Mhm.
So I've kind of had like the double coach like
Yeah.
household deal. But neither of my parents have really I think just because we grew up around it, like, we kinda knew what it took from an early age to be really good, and, like, our parents never are like, my brother and I, they never really had to harp on us a lot, and they were really awesome about just, like, letting us come to them for help and training advice and all of that stuff, and I think that they knew that we were around it 24/7, so they didn't really wanna harp on it, and, like, by the time you get home, I'm sure your dad was the same way, like, he's been talking about work all day, he's just like, "Eh," like, "Let's talk about school, let's
Right.
talk about what's going on in your life," but I think my dad saw my mom, being my coach and stuff and kinda decided to be the neutral side of that, and so my dad has definitely helped me a lot in, like, the mental aspect of performance, and you know how he is with that, so,
Right.
but I would definitely say that, like, toughness-wise and all of that, I mean, a lot of it has come from my mom, but my dad has tried to approach, like, I would say the performance thing more than, like, the physical side of it with me, so
That's awesome. Yeah, no. Um, he definitely gets after us, out in the field while we're running or lifting or whatever. But I mean, you have to appreciate it. He wants the best for all of us, and
yeah.
um, I mean, not a lot of people notice it, but he's a fun guy too.
It is, yes.
He can have some fun, but I mean, when we're on the field, it's work, and he knows that. So he has to set the tone for us every day. And the one thing I probably respect about him the most is um, I haven't shown up and got a different version of him yet. I've shown up every morning, whether it was at 5 a.m. or 6:30 a.m. or a weekday or a weekend, and he's ready to go. He's already in the weight room. He's got the energy, music going. He's yelling. He's getting on you. He's hyping you up. So he's brought the same energy and been the same person every day, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I love that about him too, and I've actually learned a lot about just, like, consistency in life, and
Hmm.
kinda like you said, like, all of my friends are so scared of him, like, at first, because they hear I mean, like, you hear all these things like, "Oh, he's so scary, he's so tough," and, like, he is, yes, but, like, he's so tough on y'all and me because, like, he loves all of us so much that he wants us to be the best that we can be, and, so I just think that that's really cool, but also, like, he is, like, the goofiest guy, and nobody gets to see that besides, like, you see him every day, and you kinda, like I guess people don't expect it, but I'm like, "No, y'all, seriously, you should be afraid of my mom, and my dad is actually hilarious, and he's really goofy, so"
That's funny.
Yeah. So how has that been? Did y'all, like 'cause, like, you probably I don't know, everybody, like, kind of was saying how tough he was before, like, he got back to OU. Were you,
Huh.
like, scared going in, or were you like, "What the heck is gonna happen?"
I've heard stories obviously about him even before I was looking to go to OU or even knew that was going to be an opportunity, and had friends at A&M and stuff, and heard a couple stories like that, and then committed and realized I don't know why I didn't realize it before I committed, but realized he was coming back because when I came up here, OU was the late decision for me. I had played a season at Tyler, and then came back for spring and did spring ball and went through the whole month of spring ball and visited OU early May, and they were all coming back like June 1st. So I had to make a decision. I had to get down here. And when I came up here to visit, there was no players. Obviously, they're on the break. Most coaches had went home. So I didn't know about it until I came back, and I was like, how did I not hear about this? But I mean, I was a little worried at first just because 'cause I'd never even met him or seen him, I had pictures and stuff like that, but I knew it was gonna be a tough summer, but I knew it was gonna be tough wherever you went, but just all the different stories and stuff like that, but, to be honest with you, I was telling my mom this when she called me, probably about 3 or 4 weeks into summer and was just asking how everything was going and all the coaches and stuff like that, but I was like, He's probably my I was like, "You're not gonna believe this," but he's probably my favorite coach right now. I was like, uh, just like I told you, the energy and stuff he brought every day, but I mean, you can see, I mean, a lot of guys are, I guess, maybe young or something and don't understand and are showing up late and stuff and just not committed yet, but, I mean, if you're showing up every day and you're wanting to get better, and maybe you just have to be a little bit of an older guy or been around it for a little bit, but mean, you can see the work he puts in with us and how much he wants it for us and how much he wants us to be good and get us better. So that stuck out to me like right away. I knew something was different and he was special. And obviously, I mean, I was still upset the days I had to come up there for the third time and do the workout because a couple people didn't run through the line and stuff like that. But you're like, I can't complain, but everyone's held to the same standard.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's really cool. And
Yeah.
maybe it plays into like you kind of, I mean, you were coached by your dad. And I think people
Hmm.
that kind of grow up around it kind of have an appreciation for it too. Like, um, the job is so hard, and I think a lot of people try to glamorize it a lot, just like, oh, like he's a football coach, his job is so easy, like that's so fun. And
Right.
I mean, really, he's just showing up to work like everybody else is.
Mhm.
And so, just like all those guys that work, and I mean, all the coaches, all the whatever, like even you guys, like playing is a job, being a student athlete is a job, and so you're all just showing up and trying to do the best that you can, and so just seeing somebody model that well. I'm biased, but I'm really proud of my dad for the way that he does that day in and day out. So
No doubt, because he could easily show up, and you see it a lot, and just be an idiot and mean to the players and not really care. Just be yelling all the time, loud. I mean, that's the easy way out or the easy thing to do. Not building relationships with the players. So to see him do that, and I mean, I knew after 2 or 3 weeks that he was special.
that's awesome. Well, I'm glad you're having that experience with him.
It's been fun. It's been fun. It's been tough, but fun.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, do you have any siblings?
I do. I have a younger sister. Shout out Avery. She's a senior in high school. She's out in California right now.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
so she's finishing up her last year of high school, and then she's off to college.
That's fun. Does she know where she's going yet?
I'm not sure yet. Actually, her birthday today. So I
Hey,
was
happy
happy
birthday, Avery.
birthday. Yeah. She's turning big 18, so
Yo,
she's getting up there.
love that. Love that. Were y'all close growing up?
Yeah, we were. I'd say so. We're 2 years apart.
Mhm.
20, she's 18. Growing up young, obviously. I mean, you have a brother. Um, a lot of like back and forth, not even necessarily fighting, but I mean, just getting on each other's nerves and stuff like that and messing with each other. And then once I kind of hit high school, she hit middle school, um, mellowed out a whole lot and became a lot closer and could be able to, just like hang out and talk and whether we were sitting at the house or whatever together or out doing something or go drive her around or something. So yeah, we became really close.
That's awesome. That's my brother and I are 2 years apart too. And so it's funny how it goes from, like you said, that like kind of like bickering, like I don't know,
Yeah.
I guess just kid stuff. But like now he's seriously my best friend, and I like that relationship is something that I don't know, he's like my person that I go to with everything now. So it's crazy how
It's
that kind of,
weird. It just clicks. Yeah, one year it just
yep,
changes.
yep. I remember one year I pushed him off a bunk bed and broke his collarbone, and then, look where we are now. So,
Right.
well,
It's
that's
funny.
awesome. Any more questions for me? That kind of threw me for a loop, I'm not gonna lie.
Well, I don't know. I figured you didn't get that very often, so
Don't.
and I was also curious too, so I had to ask.
Yeah. Thanks for doing that, I appreciate that.
Of course.
Well, okay, so we've kinda hit everything we've that I kinda wrote down and more a little bit, but, just, like, kinda in regards to football, like, that takes a lot of your time right now, and you're working really hard on that, but kind of the question that I ask everybody on the podcast is, what do you wanna be remembered for more than this?
More, what do I want to be remembered for, like in football or just
Yeah.
like in football?
Yep.
As far as my teammates go, if like you had to ask them what they remember me as, I'd want to say probably like three things would be great teammate, um, super passionate about the game, in every aspect. I guess I'd say a winner, which I guess doesn't necessarily meaning winning every game, but just the mentality,
Mhm.
um, and just I don't know really how to say it, but never really taking any days off.
Mhm.
Always being in the moment, not looking forward or living in the past or anything, but living in the moment for day by day. Because, like you said, I mean, my position's a little bit different. I'm not getting hit every play, so I don't. The risk of injury is not quite as great, although there's still a lot there. But you never know when your play is your last play, whether it's out in the practice field or in a game, or something happens in your life where you're not able to play again. So just kind of taking it in every day.
Yeah, I love that. Those are all really good things. And I kind of liked how you said being a winner, because I think that a lot of what you said, like if you truly look at it, a lot of it plays into that. And like not even like you said winning a game, but just like living your life like a winner
Hmm.
is like a lot of that plays into that. So I like that characteristic how you said that. That's really neat.
Yeah,
Well, okay. Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. I enjoyed talking to you.
of course. No, thanks for having me.